Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back to talk to you about a couple of films that are, I think, very well worth the. God, never mind. I don't know, this camera has this weird light that shines in my face for some reason. I guess it's because it's dark in here. I don't know. But anyway, I want to talk about a couple of films that are coming out. One is Terminator Genesis. Genesis. I know they're trying to say Genesis, but with the way they spelled it, it sounds pants on head retarded. Terminator Genesis, as well as the upcoming Jurassic World. Basically, the resurrection of two franchises that have not been relevant for pretty much forever, basically. Big question that I really wanted to ask here. Do either of these movies need to exist? Like, why are these being made? Let's look at the Terminator franchise first, if you can call it a franchise at this point. Terminator, in my opinion, has not been good since T2, and it hasn't been fun since T3. Notice I said fun and not good as it relates to Terminator 3, because I think that is another movie that has no reason to exist, and I think it was kind of self-aware of the fact that it didn't need to exist. Seems like Schwarzenegger knew it. There was a lot of dumb humor from time to time, the kind of making fun. It's almost like they were making fun of themselves and having a good time with it. So it's one of those movies I would declare a guilty pleasure. It was fun, but it did not need to exist, and I would never consider it to be honestly in canon with the first two films. And years later, we have Terminator Salvation, which, ironically enough, did not turn out to be the salvation of the franchise. And people would blame that on the fact that Schwarzenegger was not in the movie. I call bullshit. Look at Schwarzenegger in Terminator 3. He was actually in that one. And look on Rotten Tomatoes and tell me how well his presence actually helped that movie. It really had shit to do with Terminator, with Schwarzenegger being in the movie or not being in the movie. It was a bad idea from the very start. When you make a movie about a fucking war, it's never a good idea, because the war itself is never really what's interesting about it. It doesn't work out that way most of the time. I mean, half the movie was boring as shit, and then at the very end, we got to see some of the stuff we wanted to see, like the Terminator factory, a fake CG Arnold face, whatever. But listen, look, it was a bad concept, it was a bad script, badly miscast actors, overblown special effects, and it was a bad thing. But now, people are actually apparently still interested in Terminator enough to want to see another movie, and now we have Terminator Genesis, where they're bringing Arnold Schwarzenegger back as the Terminator again, I'm assuming. I saw the trailer during the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl was playing behind me as I was doing my work over here. I was half paying attention to it, and I noticed the trailer. And there was one line that really stuck in there, and that was, "I'll be back," which kind of struck me as odd, because I thought that meme had kind of went full circle. The original Terminator, Schwarzenegger says, "I'll be back," then plows his car through a building. And then Terminator 2, Schwarzenegger says, "I'll be back," and then shoots up some cop cars. And then finally in Terminator 3, the new T-800 Schwarzenegger plays says, "I'm back." And now we have Schwarzenegger saying, "I'll be back" again. Apart from it just being a drop of a famous quote, I can't see any real reason to do that. So what are you telling me? You're going to start "I'll be back" all over again, and then 2 movies later, you get to say "I'm back" again. I mean, is Schwarzenegger even going to be conscious, mentally secure by the time the 3rd movie's made? Like, halfway through the movie, it's just going to be hasta dementia, asshole. By the 3rd fucking movie, he's literally going to be the T-5000 with his brain in a fucking glass jar with a freaking Terminator face in front of it on a freaking mechanical hover round with Gatling guns and freaking rockets and shit. I mean, is this really where we're going? I mean, first of all, doing another Terminator movie is fucking retarded. The movie does not need to exist. It looks cheap as shit. Bringing Arnold back is a bad idea. Having flashbacks or some kind of like time paradox thing going on with the first movie and that's creative. It could work. I don't have a problem with that. But when I look at it, I can't see this as anything more than another pathetic cash grab. That's all it is. It's just a cheap cash out. It's a nostalgia trip. That's all it is, trying to relive the old days of when movies used to be more fun and creative. Only it's not being made by the people that used to make those movies that were fun and creative. It's being made by a bloated Hollywood that has not had an original fucking thought in the last decade or so, at least, maybe longer. And then we get to Jurassic World. Apparently, after the events of the first 3 films, now there's another theme park going on about dinosaurs. Because apparently the first movie was not a strong enough cautionary tale of how messing with nature like that's a really bad idea. And now we have another movie where they're trying the same shit, and it's revolving around some kind of super enhanced, genetically modified dinosaur that's like the ultimate killing machine, and basically hack, boring, derivative screenwriting 101 at its worst. Really, that's what it is. I mean, this is like the plot of every other fucking movie of this same type that I've ever seen. It is bland, boring, generic, uncreative, and very hackish, if you get my drift. But look, Jurassic Park, like Terminator, is a movie that didn't need a sequel, and instead it got 2. The Lost World was terrible. Jurassic Park 3 was terrible, but at least it had the conscious awareness to know it didn't need to exist, and it was short, so it was kind of harmless. The only advantage I really see at this point of having the Jurassic World over Terminator in terms of which one has the most right to exist is it doesn't look like Jurassic World is anywhere near as cheap as Terminator Genisys. It looks like there's a good budget behind it. The effects will be better, but in the end game, neither one of these movies needs to fucking exist. I just don't understand. Like, this is a symptom of a larger problem in Hollywood. I'm going to cite some specific examples that are going to be things that are more personal to me or have been at some point. So look, right off the bat, you've got what? Look at this. You've got Terminator, drug up from the grave. Jurassic Park, drug up from the grave. And there was talk of doing a remake of John Carpenter's Escape from New York that starred Kurt Russell back in 1982. Really? Really? And then there's still talk of Highlander, the Highlander remake. What is this going to be? Reboot number 3 for the franchise? 30 years, and this is where Highlander is at, and you think that there's even the slightest reason in the world, one iota of a reason to try to bring this series back. I don't care if you attach Tom Cruise to it. Maybe he's interested in doing it. That just shows how bad his career has to be going if he's interested in doing fucking Highlander. I mean, hell, why don't they take a cue from Terminator Genisys and bring back Christopher Lambert and play Connor again? You know, a 60-year-old guy playing what's supposed to be a 30-year-old immortal. Why not? Just go ahead and do it. Highlander does not need a remake. Highlander does not need to exist anymore. It had its time. It failed. Even the most die-hard Highlander fans, like me, have moved the fuck on, and we no longer care to see a Highlander remake. It's done for us. We have other things we're interested in now. In the general public of today, most of them don't even know what the fuck Highlander is. I could go down the street right now and just talk to some random people about Highlander, apart from the awkward stares I might get because I'm talking about a movie to a complete stranger. They wouldn't know what the hell Highlander is, apart from, like, what? What would you say? Maybe seeing an episode of the TV show on syndicated reruns, or seeing the first movie on late night on HBO or something? They don't really know about Highlander. And even if they did, all they got to do is take a quick look at the history of the series and watch a couple of movies, and that'll turn them off altogether. Escape from New York does not need to be remade. Highlander does not need to be remade. Terminator does not need a sequel. Jurassic Park does not need a sequel. This is Hollywood. This is what they're doing these days. This is the new trend. Look at RoboCop. They did a remake of RoboCop. Oh, and they didn't totally... Oh, and they completely did not shit the bed with that one, right? Let's just keep remaking everything all over again until every ounce of creativity is completely gone to where you literally have to go to the Netflix independent movie category to maybe find something that has one shred of fucking imagination in it. This is why I don't go to the goddamn movies anymore. Between Marvel creating some god-awful cinematic fucking universe, making hollow, pointless films for no other reason to advertise for the next fucking film, and DC playing catch-up to where they're shoehorning in fucking Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Arrow, fucking Itchy and Scratchy, Pinky and the Brain, fucking Rugrats and the goddamn Animaniacs and the fucking whole Looney Tunes cast in the next Batman Superman movie to find a setup for a fucking Justice League movie instead of having independent movies to build these fucking characters up so they actually make sense. It doesn't have to be a big clusterfuck of a fucking movie. This is what I have to look forward to. Remakes and 10,000 superhero movies that I have not given a fuck about since maybe the third or fourth one. This is why I don't go to the movies anymore. Hollywood has officially lost it. They have no fucking clue what they're doing anymore. Does the video game industry have you so far on your heels as far as how much money they're making compared to you that you're literally just reaching out for every desperate thing that you can grab a hold to maybe get some people interested again? Is that what it is? You gonna remake Scarface next? You gonna remake the fucking Godfather? Goodfellas? What's next? You already did a fucking a Star Trek reboot, which wasn't bad, but the second one I heard was a piece of shit. This is it. Reboots, remakes, unnecessary sequels, and superhero movies. This is Hollywood in a nutshell. And you wonder why people are losing interest. I'm out, guys.